Look, we're stuck in the system, we can't get out. It's time for a change, stop running your mouth. I'm looking for words, but I can't get it out. Look for the light, but the sun blotted out.
Hold on, let me hop on the beat. Cause social injustice and prisoner mindset is something we gotta defeat. We idle these hoes and wear all these clothes with shoes that can't be creased. Steady looking for substance and change, but we searching all up in these streets.
Got a stain on my shirt that I can't get out. My people on high like the top of the mount. We thirsting for truth, but there's no spout. Look for a savior, but no one around.
But no one's around, but where do they look? It ain't in the church, it ain't in the book. We can't get a job, so we rather crook. They got us in chains, a fish on a hook.
Look, harvesting not bodies, harvesting not organs. Got 'em real big mad, cause they culture boring. Pimping the poor, Jim Crow at the door, selling our souls, our daughters a whore. I wanna give in, can't take it no more, don't wanna believe our people are more.
We swept our cart when we look at decline. We got a new bottle, it's filled with...
Hello, family, and welcome to another MACultureM Podcast. We're here, we cover everything from intense social topics to funny social trends, and we're your host, Mark Jonathan.
G.
And as always, we have a great segment for you all today. But before we get started, if we could have our brief disclaimer.
Y'all, so here on the MACultureM Podcast, we cover a plethora of everything Black, and sometimes it can be a little controversy. And all we ask is that before you decide to jump down our necks about, how you feel, evaluate why you feel how you feel, and then, hit us up, let's talk about it, and we, could bring you on the show and talk about it then too. But with that being said, welcome to the MACultureM Podcast. We got a lot of great things for y'all. Yeah.
Absolutely. So with that being said, y'all can see from the title, we got some Black excellence, Black news, and then we're going to jump into our discussion. So let's go ahead and get it started with the Black excellence.
Okay, y'all. So, Mark, you got me sharing your screen?
Yeah, I got you.
Y'all, so this, and it's a little old, but I just wanted to bring highlight to this because, we don't, talk about certain things like this, but we have a team of Black women who, the fishing team, they won the first Black female fishing team to win the fishing tournament. I didn't even know they had fishing tournaments, first of all. I didn't even know they had fishing tournaments, first of all. But for them, these beautiful group of Black women to be the first Black female team to win the tournament, I thought that was dope. I've always wanted to learn how to fish, but it's always been considered like a male thing. Like it's not feminine to fish. It's a masculine thing. But I get it, but I want to know how to fish. It's a survival skill, I feel like. You never know what can happen. You get lost in a woods or a jungle somewhere, you got to know how to fish. You got to know what fish is good fish to eat, what fish is bad for you, all that. So this is dope. This is really dope to see that these Black women did that. I just wanted to read a little bit about it. Scroll for me. The Ebony Angels Anglers, a Black female fishing team, took first place in the King Mackerel division of Carteret.
I think so.
Community College Foundation Spanish Mackerel and Dolphin Tournament in Morehead City on the weekend July 17th through 18th. So this happened last year. Y'all, so I want to read over here. The women, okay, let me read this. The competitive women's fishing team established and based in the Triangle area reeled in a 48-pound king mackerel, earning them a covered citation from the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission. Y'all, 48-pound king mackerel. I don't know if y'all know what a king mackerel is, but I do. It's a big ass fish.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all can see it in the picture here.
See it right here.
Yeah, you see it in the picture there. It's a big ass fish. It's huge. And I'm already knowing, just assuming what fishing is like, that the bigger the fish is, the harder it is to catch.
Absolutely.
they hold weight. So yeah, I just wanted to bring highlights of that. Mark, how you feel about that?
I mean, well, first off, I love fishing. I haven't been in a minute, but that's something I grew up on. And catching 48 pounds, you feel me, while it's trying to get away is no easy feat, you feel me? Like, they definitely did their thing, for sure. It's hard to catch catfish or fish in general, and to catch something that's 48 pounds, kudos to them.
Look, and what show was I watching? All American. The dad, when he takes his son fishing, he tells him, it's a patience thing. You gotta have patience when you fishing, and I just think, you can exit out of this, Mark. With that, just thinking of how with the Black community, it's important that we teach patience to our kids young. Is it, and I just knowing that learning how to fish is a patience game and you got to be patient with that. I think that's the perfect streamline to teach patience, because you have to be. You can't get away from it. You can't rush fishing. You can't rush the fish to come to you. They're going to come to you when they come. And so I just wanted to highlight that real quick. Yeah.
I feel that. No doubt.
That's all I had on the Black Excellence. Shout out to those ladies. I definitely want to get more, make it normalized to make fishing co-ed. Teach girls how to fish as well. Because my brothers used to go fishing with our papa when we were younger. So, and they used to love it. So I definitely want to make that co-ed. But shout out to them. That's all I had on the Black Excellence. But for this Black news, y'all, as we segue, this first thing that I have is, a group of teenage boys who were accused of stealing from Target in California, and like the security or like staff, whatever, they like would block the boys from being able to leave the store, and all. It was crazy, but it's just like, this is what it's like to be a Black teen in America. Like, you can't even do anything. When y'all hear their story of what it is that they were doing, okay, so they wouldn't let us leave. Employees reportedly blocked Black teens from leaving California Target after falsely accusing them of theft. Apologies follow. So this happened in January. Retail giant Target has issued an apology after 3 Black teenagers were wrongfully detained at a Los Angeles store location earlier this month. A viral video captured via cell phone shows several Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies holding the teens' hands behind their backs during a grand theft investigation inside the Westlake Village store. In an apology statement related to the incident, Target announced that the security team member involved had been terminated. One of the teenagers, 17-year-old Malik Aaron, told CBS Los Angeles that he and 4 friends were walking home from church on January 17th when they stopped at Target to purchase snacks. I sound like a news anchor moderator.
Same. Here's some of the pictures and stuff.
Here's the pictures. The group witnessed a separate group of males steal iPhones and leave the store, and afterward an employee began to follow the group around and accuse them of loitering, according to Aaron. We were walking around and we saw some kids steal some iPhones, said 16-year-old Aaron
Fredrickson, I think.
Fredrickson, another one of the detained teens. When the group tried to leave, they realized Target employees had blocked the exit with shopping carts. They wouldn't let us leave at all, but they were letting other people leave, said Aaron. 3 deputies arrived and detained 3 teens near the front of the store. 1 teen was placed in handcuffs and put in a police car for 20 minutes before he was released. A friend of the detained teens filmed the encounter on a cell phone. Aaron's mother, LaShawn Aaron, also said a deputy slapped her son's phone out of his hand when he attempted to film the situation and said it was her son who was thrown into the back of the patrol car. They were really rough with us, and it kind of hurt me, said 16-year-old Greg Kim, who was also detained. The teens were released and no arrests were made. Aaron's mother posted the footage of the incident on Facebook. She said she believes the teens were racially profiled. They were targeted because they were children of color. The 43-year-old mom told Los Angeles, that's so disrespectful. You don't reveal a woman's age. Told the Los Angeles Times they were automatically associated with people that had committed a crime because they were also black. Sheriff's Captain Sal Chuck Becerra said the teens were detained by the store's loss prevention officers and were released after it was discovered that they were not involved in the grand theft. Becerra said there was no evidence that the deputies used physical force when detaining the teens, and denied that a deputy had damaged the teen's phone. Evidence does not show any allegations of wrongdoing, use of force, violation of our department policies, or violations of any laws on behalf of the deputies, the sheriff's captain wrote on the department's Facebook page. So yeah, y'all.
Crazy.
Tell me how you feel, Mark.
I mean, I've personally been in this situation. On the Target at Northfield shoot, I don't mind calling them out either. They're definitely weird about it, and like the whole I forget what they said, stores loss prevention. You know, that's all a bunch of BS. At the end of the day, it's Target. You feel me? Like you should man your cameras. You should see before you don't allow these kids to leave or exit the premises or whatever. You should have hard evidence that they're doing something wrong.
Exactly.
Like, it shouldn't be no investigation afterwards. Like, you should already know that they've committed a crime, this, that, and the third. But nah, like it almost went like line for line how my story went. Like a other group was, I guess, stealing or so, and the group of people I was with got caught in the backfire on the front end of that. So, I mean,
yeah, no, I'm right there with you with the Target in Northfield. I'm gonna add to that. They definitely racial profile out there. And yeah, for sure. But one thing about Target, because Target has had multiple incidents in several different states of racial profiling. And one thing about Target as the main corporation is that they do handle that shit. They like the main corporation, they are like no tolerance on that. They do fire. They don't have a problem with terminated employees when they feel like they were wrong in their actions. If they feel like their employee was wrong and it's proof and evidence that they were wrong, you feel me? Target is quick to terminate, and that I can appreciate Target as a whole company for that. Now it's the smaller stores where it's like you really do just gotta look at it. And it's crazy because you can't help who you hire. You really can't help who you hire. And it sucks to say, looking at all white people as racist, because not all white people are racist. And it sucks saying, all, black people are thugs, and there's not. But you can't tell just off of a resume who's racist and who's not racist, or just someone's job application. So you really don't know who you hiring. And that's what's scary with these big corporations, because you end up with situations like this. Where now, as a big company, you got to make public apologies for racial profiling, when that's not really even how y'all get down. And now you got people or outsiders looking at Target as a whole mainframe as like Target's racist. And it's not Target; it's the people who's hired into Target. And that's why I can say I appreciate Target, because they are quick to fire. They are quick to terminate, absolutely quick to terminate. But when it comes to like the police officer, when he or the sergeant, whatever, was talking, captain, regardless, that's the thing with that. It's always our word against theirs. And it was the kids and the mom saying that they used force. The police officers used force and damaged the phone, but they're saying no, we didn't, and it happened outside the store, and there's no cameras really proving it. Then it's their word against the victim's word, and usually, you feel me, the police will always give the police a slap on the wrist.
Mm-hmm.
The police always gives the police a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, they're gonna protect their own for sure.
Gonna protect their own, and it's crazy because it's like they said they was coming from church. We just trying to get some snacks.
Yeah. And it was just mad extra too.
Mad extra, y'all gonna put the shopping carts in front of the doors and barricade us inside of here?
Definitely mad extra.
Every employee that was involved in that should have been fired.
For real. But it's good they got the person that was under the webcams or whatever. Cause it's like that should be the first person you go to, like, hey,
always,
I think this person did this, that, and the third. Okay, let me check real quick. And then the issue is resolved. But the fact that they called police without proof is just
ridiculous.
Just extra in itself.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, that's all I had on that, though. We could segue. I just got a little more news on the George Floyd trial. I don't know if it's happening today. The article says it could be happening as early as today, which means it doesn't mean it's going to happen today. It could happen, tomorrow or later in the week. But there we go. The Minneapolis police chief testifies against Chauvin in trial over George Floyd death. So over the officer who killed George Floyd, the chief officer is supposed to be testifying against him, and I just, find that interesting. Because y'all, as I was just saying, the police always gives the police a slap on the wrist. So to see when good police voice out against bad police, it's important to highlight because it doesn't happen often. And we say all the time, how do we know which police are good and which police are bad? Y'all all fit the description of being bad police officers. So,
and I could read this for you, G, but before we get started, I just wanted to say I hope we are all, hold on, because I want to make sure I hope we are all paying attention to this trial. Because this is a really big cornerstone of stuff that's going to happen in the future, whether it goes either way. If they do not convict this man, if y'all thought the riots, but after the actual murder of George Floyd, let this man get off. And you're going to see uproar.
Talk about savagery.
I'm trying to tell you, you're going to see an uproar. So I feel like they almost have to, it's almost like a sacrificial lamb type of stuff. Like, that's the only reason why I think this trial is a little bit bogus.
And this trial is going to go down in history.
Absolutely, because they saw how angry we were. So I feel like they're going to use this as, like, okay, let's quiet them down for a moment or two. But either way this goes, we cannot let up on them. Just because this is one person that has murdered and might not get away. This is one person.
We have to make sure they keep going forward.
I'm trying to tell
keep going forward. We not letting no more of y'all off the hook for killing us.
I'm trying to tell you. And then now I'll read this article and then I have something else to bring up. Because that stuff be bothering me sometimes. But let me read this article real quick. All right, so boom. So Minneapolis Rooters, I don't know what that is. So Minneapolis Police Chief Medaria Arredondo, testified on Monday in the murder of trial Derek Chauvin for the deadly arrest of George Floyd, where That should say deadly murder. That was
Period.
okay, but where prosecutors sought to undermine the defense claim the former officer followed police training. Absolutely not. In his first hour on the witness stand, Ardonado had not yet been asked to speak directly about the arrest on May 25th, 2020, but said the police officers are instructed to treat the people they encounter with dignity, and the part of the department's motto requires officers to serve with compassion. Protect and serve is the main goal of the police. Like, that's not difficult to understand, but continuing. To serve with compassion too means to understand and authentically accept that we see our neighbor as ourselves. We value one another, he told the jury, which he did not do. Chauvin, who is white, was caught in widely seen bystanders' videos kneeling on the neck of Floyd, a 46-year-old handcuffed black man, for more than 9 minutes. Footage that sparked the global protest against police brutality. Chauvin has pleaded not guilty to murder and manslaughter charges, arguing that he did only what he was trained to do in his 19 years as a police officer. Here are some important moments from the 6th day of the testimony in Chauvin's trial. Did you want to go into this?
Yeah. Started out on Monday. Or let me go down. Hold on, he was also.
All right, bet that. So on Monday, a prosecutor asked him to explain to the jury how police officers receive extensive training on how to use force and reduce tensions. We are oftentimes the first face of the government our community will see, and we will often meet them at their worst moments, he told the jury when he asked to describe the meaning of the badge the city's roughly 700 sworn officers wear. That has to count for something. I'm sorry. He asked to read aloud parts of the department's code of ethics. It's really about treating people with dignity and respect above all else, he told the jury. Arredondo, who joined the department in 1989, also said officers receive annual training reminding them of the department policies on giving first aid to people who need medical care. Dr. Bradford
wait. Boom, right there. So where he said that officers receive annual training reminding them of department policies on giving first aid to people who need medical care. So Friday, when we talked about the first responders who gave their testimonies, one of them has stated that it was obvious no medical attention was being given to George Floyd. That it was obvious, it was clear as day. But once they realized that this man was unconscious and unresponsive, that it was obvious no medical attention was being given to him at all. He was just laying on the ground. And as the other first responder said, he looked dead. I thought he was dead.
Mm-hmm. And just to add on to that, they even thought that he was still wrestling with Floyd. Mm-hmm. Or like that Floyd was still putting up a fight. But as he got closer, he realized that Floyd was unresponsive and handcuffed. Which begs the question, why are they still on this man?
Why are they still on top of him? Why is your knee still on this man's neck?
Bro, he was trying to check for a pulse, and the officer still had his knee on his neck.
Still had his knee on his neck. How can you check for a pulse like that? How am I going to get an accurate pulse and your knee is on his neck?
I'm saying. I don't even understand. That situation is just crazy to me, man.
It is. It's real crazy. I'm ready for the trial to be over and have a verdict. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I'm really ready. And it's crazy. This kind of I don't know, cause I was watching A Different World earlier, and one the episode Dwayne and Willie got married their honeymoon. They went to LA, and it was during the Rodney King riots, and and talking about that, and they talked about everybody's feelings when the verdict was given, and how some people knew that the verdict was going to be not guilty. Like some people was just so woke and knew that the verdict was going to be not guilty. There was other people who was like, nah, you feel me? This is the land of the free. This is not even that. That's not even the world we live in anymore. It's not the 60s anymore. It's not the 50s anymore. Like we get justice too. So it was some people who was genuinely shocked that the verdict was not guilty, and then you have those others who was not surprised at all but was still hurt. And that's this situation, right? Like it's like we wholeheartedly want the verdict to be guilty because it's obvious. It's obvious that with Rodney King, it was obvious. We seen if you haven't seen the Rodney King video, Google it, YouTube
It's
it.
sad.
It's available to see, right? But you see the video, and after watching that video, it becomes clear and obvious in your mind that them officers was guilty. They were guilty. Now, with the George Floyd case, when watching the video and then hearing the testimonies and listening to what everybody is saying about it, it is the settlement, right? All of these things are clear proof that the officer is guilty. But how that renders a verdict, that's what is the scary part. As Mark was saying earlier, however this goes, we have to be prepared for it. We have to, because the whole entire George Floyd situation, starting in 2020, is gonna go down in history. It's not over. People think that the George Floyd situation is over. It's not over until we get a verdict rendered. And then even then, it's not over, because what happens then? We can't even predict a short outcome without knowing what the verdict is, but we can assume, right? So say the verdict is not guilty. If we get a not guilty verdict, Minneapolis alone is going to go up in flames. I'm going to be surprised if it doesn't. I promise you I am. I'm going to be surprised if it does. And then it's going to be a domino effect, just like it was when the situation first occurred last year. Minneapolis
Absolutely.
went up in flames, and then the rest of the states followed. There were a few states who didn't participate, but most of the other 49 states did. Minneapolis was boom, bam, you got that one, absolutely, and you got 49 other ones who was like, I'm going to hop on the wave too. That's going to happen with the verdict. Now, if he gets a guilty verdict, how are we going to make sure every officer like him gets a guilty verdict from here on out? Because they're not going to stop killing us. They're not going to stop killing us until we learn to identify our identity and be a community and love one another. They're not going to stop killing us. So we have a ways before that even happens. We're in the beginning stages of that. So we have a ways before we're all the way there. So how are we going to make sure that these guilty verdicts continuously come in?
I'm telling you. The way cases work, they use past cases to kind of be like the guideline for cases to come. So that's why it's so big that we get this guilty verdict. Because if it were to happen again, by law, they would have to vote in the way that they voted originally.
Absolutely.
But that's why we're saying like this verdict is very, it's going to be a cornerstone of a lot of stuff to come. I'll just say that.
Hell yeah.
Did you have anything more to say on that?
I just thinking about that real quick, just thinking about riots and, all of that or whatever. It's already spring.
Mm-hmm.
It's already spring. I'm thinking we'll have a verdict by summer. Summer in general, crime rates go up. Just in general, because it's hot and people don't know how to act when they're overheating. So I'm just imagining a not guilty verdict in my head for the summer. Like, people thought summer of 2020 was bad. We've seen the damage we can do. 2020 really showed us the damage that we're capable of, that we already knew because our ancestors had done it before, but now it was us doing it. So I'm just imagining a not guilty verdict for the summer of 2021. That's how things go down in history. The summer of, the winter of, the war of, whatever year. These things are big. You can't dismiss history. History always repeats itself, whether it comes in the exact same form or slightly different. George Floyd's case is so similar to Rodney King, except George Floyd wasn't a Black activist. He wasn't on the front line per se, fighting for things as far as where everybody across the nation knew him. We didn't know George Floyd until he was already dead. Whereas people knew Rodney King before. So that's the difference. Yeah, that's the difference. But other than that, it's they're the same. That shit blows my mind. It just blows my mind. We cannot dismiss history. You can't. You just can't do it. But yeah, that's all I had.
All right, bet. Just like a little segue before we jump into this discussion or whatever, you saw how New York legalized marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
So my whole thought on that, right, is there's a lot of people that's been in prison because of marijuana. So with the legalization, like, don't you think that should affect some of the sentencing or like however the case is? Exactly. That's what I feel like. So I feel like with it being legalized, like them people that serving football numbers for years should rather get a reduced sentence or released altogether.
No, I feel that way 100%. 100%. So I believe they're still fighting on if they're going to what is it? Defelonize marijuana across, you feel me, national, I mean, like across the entire nation, federally. And with that alone, for the states that have legalized marijuana medically, recreationally, or whatever, for non-violent drug offenses. Not and hear me when I say this, because it becomes it's a different charge once you add the violent to it. So for the non-violent drug offenses, every single one of those men and women should be released from jail. Screw a reduced sentence. They served their time. They did their time. They did it. Because now I can walk into a dispensary and get me
in the same city I just got arrested in. What? Just like that, and that part of that is like some real. That's some real, because they should be released. They've served their time. And imagine sitting in jail, watching the news, and hearing about marijuana being legalized, and that's what you're in jail for. You're in jail on a 10-15 year sentence for being caught with an eighth or less. 2 joints, maybe.
2 joints. Like, they really would give people football numbers for a minuscule amount of marijuana. And then non-violent at that. I'm not a violent offender.
I just wanted to smoke.
I was just trying to make some money to feed my daughter. Ain't that what Biggie said?
Or just trying to smoke, shoot.
Or just trying to smoke. I have anxiety. You in jail. I have glaucoma. I have PTSD. I like depression. All of these things. Cancer. Marijuana helps with all of the back pain.
Seizures.
Your headaches. All of these things. A lack of appetite. marijuana helps with all of these things, and now for it to be legal and you have people who are sitting in jail doing football numbers for it, it's not fair. It's completely unfair to them, and they deserve to come home. I don't care if they just went to jail for it last year. They deserve to come home. They deserve to come home because
Absolutely.
we get to walk into dispensaries. Colorado has dispensaries like they have McDonald's and 7-Elevens and Starbucks every corner. There's not a city in Colorado you can't go to and not find a dispensary. Everywhere you go in Colorado, you're gonna be able to find a dispensary from border to border. Colorado Springs, Boulder, Denver, Park Hill, Aurora, Greeley.
They got 100 in
Littleton.
Denver alone.
There's hundreds in Denver alone. In Denver alone, there's hundreds of them. So it's just, it's just not fair. You feel me? It doesn't. And me personally, I'm fighting a case right now. It's not in Denver, it's Louisiana. That's why I want them to legalize marijuana and de-felonize it across the nation, because I'm fighting a felony case right now in Louisiana for it. And I didn't even have marijuana. I mean, it was THC, but it was edibles. And when they weighed it down, it was 36.38 milligrams of THC. It's not even a whole gram. You break that down, it's not even enough to give me a blunt. So yeah, and I've been fighting this case for 3 years now. I'm so over it. But like situations like mine, I should have got a ticket and a fine and been sent on my way. But instead, I'm facing a felony.
That's crazy. But hey, I just wanted to throw that out before we jump into our discussion. But with that being said, go ahead and segue discussion time.
Y'all. So our discussion, I combined them, y'all, because Mark, definitely made me realize that they coincide with one another. So I just kind of wanted to talk about them. Okay, so Mark, you can play the first video. We can do that one first. Y'all know I love me some TikTok. Okay, I'll be on TikTok. But these are a couple of videos that I see on TikTok that I just felt like was important discussion topics when it comes to. We talk about relationships.
Somebody when she.
My fault. I wasn't expecting it.
It jumps right into it. So.
They on your mind 24. It's a drug. Why would I want that? Like I want it, but it's like, why would I want that? Why would I want to get so attached to you? I lose myself. Love is a drug. Once you love somebody, once you really like somebody, that's all you want to talk to. They on your mind 24. It's a drug. Why would I want that? Like I want it, but it's like, why would I want that? Why would I want to get so attached to you? I lose myself.
Okay,
it's a drug.
So boom,
that one. Love is a drug, y'all. Keep that in memory real quick because I'm gonna play the second video. But love is a drug, and just keep that there, y'all.
If a woman come in your life, right, and she acting heartless, she acting like she don't care, she acting like she don't need you, she acting like she don't want nothing from you, she just acting like she with whatever you with, understand that woman has been hurt. She only acting how she thinks she has to act to not get hurt. Understand that sometimes you can't give a woman what she asks for. You got to give her what she needs. You know what I'm saying? You got to go up to her and say, you ain't got to worry about being hurt. I'm here to stay. I'm going to fuck with you. You got a real man. You feel what I'm saying? Because a lot of the time they so hurt they can't trust nobody and they start trying to act like a man, and then that's why it's a confusion when it's like, damn, why can't I find me a good woman? It's because they transforming into how niggas act because we keep them over so much. So it's like, damn, let me start acting like a nigga. You feel what I'm saying? So if you got you a woman that's acting heartless, you just gotta show her that you love her and you fuck with her a little bit more because it's gonna take a little bit more because she's been hurt. Hey, listen, if a woman come in your life, right?
So boom. Okay.
Man.
First off, Mark, I just, go ahead and give me how you feel about both of them videos.
Okay, boom. So I'm gonna address. I'll do it in the order from where we watched the video. So one, love is a drug, without a doubt. You feel me? You see it in situations where you keep going back to someone you rock with, but they just kind of messed up in a way or keep messing up. but you keep rocking with them, keep trying to rock with them, however the case may be. Like, that's just a prime example of right there how love is a drug. And then to the second video, that is pure facts. Like, that is pure facts. A lot of these, I don't know. Like, I know I said this before. I've had the worst luck recently, man. I'm trying to tell you, I just run into girls acting like niggas, just back to back to back to back. And I'm trying to tell you, and I'm trying to preserve my energy at the moment. Because, boy, I'm trying to tell you, they'll zap it right out of you. I'll try to tell you. But, nah, it's real difficult, though, G. I ain't gonna lie. Like, because for me personally, if the energy is not reciprocated, I start to get what our generation would say toxic, you feel me? Like, not in the sense that I start hurting females, but like as soon as I feel like you just kind of like going through the motions with me, I'm gonna start hopping on my bully. I feel, man, I don't want to look stupid. Like, I've done that before. So in the midst of you being hurt, like, I know hurt people hurt people. So I'm gonna remove myself. But I remove my feelings, not necessarily myself. Do that make sense?
That does make sense. And that's where the struggle becomes, and that's where love being a drug comes in, because it's like, you could remove your feelings, but you can't, because I believe once you love somebody, you can't just stop loving somebody. There's that difference in being in love and just love. Because I could love you without being in love with you, but you can remove your feelings. Like, you can stop caring for somebody. You can stop, checking on somebody. You can stop, being that shoulder to lean on from somebody and still love them from a distance. Exactly. That's, that love is a drug is real. That love is a drug is so real, because it's something that is just so hard to turn off. It's not the easiest thing to turn off, and it's addicting. Once you get a good dose of love, you never want to stop getting that. You want to have that dose of love all the time and constantly. And then, but saying like you get a bad dose of love, then it kind of shifts your perspective a little bit, and it affects you in a negative way, or a positive way.
Just to kind of add to what you were kind of saying, if you've never felt love before, you feel me? Then you go and get that good sense of love, or at that time what you perceive as good. That's when you really start to hold on to it.
You brought up a valid point. Because for people who don't even know really what love is, or what love feels like, and then you get what you perceive is a good dose of love, when really it's not. But because you're getting all the things that you've never had before, you think it is. And it's not. And you gotta, sometimes you gotta go through stuff before you get somewhere. You feel me? You gotta go through some things to get somewhere. To the second video, for me, I am one of those females. I'm one of those females where I come in, I'm hardcore. I can't appear, heartless. All of these things, and it's just because that I've been hurt before, and I don't have the energy to be hurt again. And I know what I can take, and y'all, that song, she's a runner, she's a track star, she gonna run away when it gets hard, she can't take the pain, she can't get scarred, she hurts anyone that gets involved. That part right there, like, when I look back on some of the relationships, I was the hurter. Like, I wasn't the victim. I can't say. I can't say that I was always the victim in my relationship. Like I was the heartbreaker when I look back on him. And it's not like it was on purpose or anything like that. I didn't know. And I look back like some of the dudes really did try to show me love. I didn't know how to receive it. You know, I did not know how to receive. Like my very first good boyfriend, like really good boyfriend, we was rocking maybe, you know, like 6 months we was rocking good, and like he told me he loved me, and I called my twin and I told him that he cheated on me and I needed him to beat him up at football practice. That was my way of breaking up with my boyfriend because I didn't know how else to, and he told me he loved me and that scared the shit out of me. I didn't know what to do with that. I had no idea what to do with that. And so to deflect and run away from it, I have brothers. I'm gonna use my brothers to my advantage. I call my brother like, hey, Whoop cheated on me, and I know y'all play on the same football team. I'm gonna need you to get with him at practice. And bam, then you feel then my you know ex called me. He said, "You told your brother I cheated on you," and I was like, "What?" But I was deflecting and I was running away. I didn't know how to receive it. And the older I get, you know, of course, the more I'm realizing that. And now it's like I have a guy in my life where he don't give a damn about it. Like he really forces me and pushes me to, you know, express myself, and he sees past all of like the hardcore shell that I give. He sees past all of that. And like dude was saying in the video, you feel me, like you have to see past all that in order to help a female grow when she's been hurt. But you can't do that if you're not healed yourself, or if you're not in a comfortable place. You know, like Mark was saying, you feel me, he don't have the time or the energy to waste. He don't have the time or the energy to waste, and that is so respected. And as a woman, we have to respect when men say that. We have to respect, because you will have a man who is cool with wasting time. I got the energy and the time to waste. You feel me? You on your bullshit, I'm gonna be on my bullshit, and we can do it. And then you have those men where it's like, I don't have time or energy to waste. I value every time and minute that I get, and I want to do something with it. I want to see something come from it. I don't have time to waste my man. As a good man, when a good man does try to work on a woman and she don't receive it, you can't do nothing but respect when he walks away.
You can't help somebody who ain't ready to be helped.
You can't help somebody who's not ready to be helped. And I think so oftentimes us women, we want to pick and choose who helps us. We don't want to just receive the help from who God is sending to us. We want to pick and choose who we want to receive our help from, because maybe it's not coming in the shape and form that we wanted it to come in. So that's the good guy. You know, the good guy is sent to us to help, but because sometimes he's not he's not as tall as you want him to be, or he's not as dark or as light as you want him to be. He's not as smart or as hood as you want him to be. You reject him. You reject them, and you neglect that help that God is sending to you, that healing that you need. I personally, I'm not that woman that believes that I don't need a man. I believe that I do, because there's no way that I'm going to really be able to navigate my way through this life without guidance. And I know that a man is a woman's guidance. Period. I know that. That's my perception of that. But I have to be willing to accept who God sends to help me and quit rejecting because they don't look like what it is that I want them to look like, or they don't have everything on my list that I want for them to have on my list. Us women, we got to stop being so mechanical.
Nah, I mean, yeah, I feel 100% what you've been saying. And just to add on, like, oftentimes, especially nowadays, like, everybody's in this I gotta hurt you before you hurt me type of thing. It's like, and it's crazy because you can genuinely have no intentions on hurting somebody, but like the more you say like, oh, that's not what I'm here to do, it's like the less they believe you.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you become exactly what they think you are, then it's surprising, and then it get toxic. Like man, like I said this like a few podcasts ago. When I wasn't in the position to be a good boyfriend, I'm talking about from 14 to 18, right? That was just me being, that was me being that. You feel me? I swear every girl that I talked to was trying to be a wife per se. You feel me? And per se. But now that I'm in the position, I'm saying now that I'm in the position to be a good boyfriend, bro, and I mean like dealing with issues like respectfully and to get to a good point, bro, everybody is so hot, bro. And it's like, dang. Like I definitely feel what he was saying, because like they've been hurt and shit on in the past. So like it's not even that they don't recognize a good nigga. It's just before they take a chance in being wrong, they gonna hurt you every time. They gonna hurt you every time, and that's why I just say, man, I just preserve my energy, because I don't got time to deal with it. Like I know now that I'm a good dude. You feel me? I really don't. When I let it be known like what I'm here for. Like if I'm here for just boom bang and that, all right, bet. But if I'm here to be your boyfriend, I let that be known. But it's like whenever you do that, it just be like, oh, you bullshitting. Like, cap, get up out of here.
Okay,
and
then
they say, like, how much they don't need you.
So, because that's a valid point. And me, I'm just like, okay. Okay, I'm gonna just put this in layman's terms, right? Like I've been dealing with this dude for my favorite dude, for about a year. And earlier in the year, we had the conversation about being boyfriend girlfriend. I'm the type you can't really ask me, because I don't even know. Like I've been single for so long, I don't even know really what to say to that. But more so, like if you hit me, like what, you feel me? I'm done with my BS. You're done with your BS, and we're focusing on each other. That is more. I can receive that better. I'm gonna receive that better. I don't know why, but I just am. If you just tell me this is what we're doing, and then we both commit to it, and then we're good. But if you give me the option to choose, I still want to be in these streets. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you, okay? So you can't give me the option to choose. I need to be
assertiveness.
I need that assertiveness. Because with giving me the option, like it sounds good. Like I'm at a point in my life right now where a boyfriend, it sounds good, right? It sounds good. Like I'm not against it. There was a point where I was against it completely. Like, nah, no, I don't even play them type of games. But now I'm at a point where it's like it sounds good. How I accept that, it has to be asserted to me. It just has to be asserted to me, because giving me that option and choice, like I said, I'm dealing with my favorite one right now. I mean, I still have, I will always believe that you gotta have your starting five and then your five on the bench to replace.
Wow. Yo, you definitely ain't the only one. You feel me? These females nowadays will admit to your face, like, I have a whole roster. Do you want to play on the team? Straight like that. Straight like that. I swear I've heard it done like so many times. Like, it's like, dang. Like, I had a girl recently say, like, it was a race and right now 4 of y'all are running. And I was like, well, shorty, I get tired easily.
Hey, you talking about I'm gonna drop out. I'm gonna
I'm
fall.
telling you, like, I get tired easily. Like, that's about to be a 3-man race real fast. Like, I
Real
ain't
quick.
even
See,
cut me out. Cut me
yeah,
out.
because I was doing in multiples, which, I mean, I still have a couple on the back burner, but they're literally just on the back burner. It's just this one
But
right now.
why y'all gotta come so hard, though?
And I try not to, but it's when dudes start to get possessive, that's when I come hard. You don't own me. I am a single female. I am single. Okay, I am single until you feel me. We discuss otherwise. You can't just assume that I belong to you. You can't just assume that you're the only dude that I talk to. Because I'm not gonna assume that I'm the only female you talk to. If I'm single, if my title is single, I'm allowed to talk to whoever and however many whoever's I want to. And that's just talking. That's just talking. I'm just talking, not none of the extra that goes along with it. Not none of the extra, just talking. You feel me? I can have several talking people. But then son, you gotta know when to cut people out. I mean,
a whole roster though.
Well, I'm gonna put the roster like this. I'll explain the roster. I'm gonna explain the roster, okay? You have your starting 5, okay? And the crazy thing is with sports, and I love using the sports analogies with dudes because that's what dudes understand. It's sporting analogies.
Right.
So, your roster and having a basketball team is a bit better than having a football team because your basketball team, you have your starting 5. Right, and everybody has a different position that they play, right? You have your point guard, right? You have your point guard or the shooting guard, right? You have your wings, your 2 wings, right? Who they play the same position but in different ways, right? You have your center, right? Yep, you have your center, and what am I missing?
You said all 5.
I said all 5. Point guard, shooting guard, your wings, and then your center.
Yeah.
Okay. They different roles, different positions. They all play something different, right? You have, and then it's your starters. You have the 5 people who start on the court because they are the best. They're gonna get the game started. They're gonna make sure that, you feel me, we get points on the board. You feel me? We're hustling. We're having a good first half. You feel me? And now your center is usually your tipper, who tips the ball, who starts the game off. Your center is gonna start the game off for you. Usually the ball immediately gets passed off to somebody else. Immediately. Hopefully it's a wing, or you feel me, a shooting guard. Once the ball gets passed, now the ball is in whoever hands. Whoever holds the ball holds the power. Ain't that how basketball works? Whoever holds the ball holds the power. So everybody on the team has a different. And then you have somebody gets injured. You have an injury, or somebody gets tired. Right? Somebody gets tired. You will be worn out. Then you have your subs. You sub somebody in for somebody else. You're hurt. Sub. Let's switch out. Let's switch out. Let's bring somebody else in. Let's get you fixed up because you're injured. I hurt you real quick, and it wasn't on purpose. It might have been on purpose.
Okay, but I got a quick question before we run out of time. Is that the way to go, though?
When you're single, yes, I believe so. When you're single, and yes, if you're single, because I also believe when you're single
and hurt,
you need to be. I mean, not really hurting people. No, oh, you said single and hurt.
Single and hurt, is that the way to go?
If you're single and hurt, then no. If you're single and hurt, you need to be playing chess or solitaire or something like that. Something that's really focusing on your mind and getting your mind right. That's what you need to be playing if you're single and hurt. If you're in a hurt place. But if you're single and you're not hurt, you feel me? You done discovered who you are. You know what you bring to the table. You know what you offer. You know what you want. Then hell yeah, that's how you play the game. Keep your options open. And then you'll have that 1 out of 5 who was qualified for the NBA. You have that 1 out of 5 who was qualified
In the
for the
big
NBA.
leagues.
You hear me? You have
In the
that
big
one who's
league.
like, that's who I choose. That's who I want to be with, and that's the person. And then the team disintegrates because you can't take your high school or college basketball team with you to the NBA. Everybody's not going to make the cut. Everybody's not going to make the cut. So you can't take the entire team with you. You got to take who is going to make sure that the game gets played right. Meaning that offense is being played correctly, defense is being played correctly. You feel me? Special what am I thinking of? Plays is being done correctly. You feel me? All of those things is being done right. And in a relationship, translating that from sporting terms to relationship terms, offensive, right, is making sure that when we're good, we're good. When we're good, we're good. I'm focusing on you, you focusing on me, we focusing on our money. You feel me? When we're good, we're good. Defensive, right? You might be having a bad day. So now I got to do a little extra to, push your day better. Or I'm having a bad day and I might need you to do a little extra for me to push my day better. If we're arguing, we need to learn how to compromise and talk and communicate. Those are the things that push relationships and make sure relationships work. And you're doing that with just that one person. When you're truly communicating with one person and working through problems, you really do grow. You can't work on all your own individual personal problems with the entire team because somebody's not going to understand. Somebody's not going to get it. Somebody's going to steer you the wrong way.
We gonna definitely have to part 2 though.
Free game. Y'all
Without a doubt, we gonna have to part 2 for real. But long story short. Long story short, you feel me? If you a hurt female specifically, work on yourself because hurt people do hurt people, even if it's not intentional.
Even if it's not intentional,
get your roster. Yo, that's a big piece. Even if it's not intentional, you might even not realize what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you single and you not hurt, you feel me? You're in a good spot. Get your roster, whether it be football, basketball, hell, soccer. Do your thing.
Baseball.
I'm trying to tell you, get you a whole Team USA if you have to.
Man, track team.
It's been your MACultureM Podcast. We ask that you please follow our social media platforms. I got you, done it. Oh, yes, ma'am. Make a chess move as you see right here. Make a culture move. Our virtual artist storytelling, which is canceled this week.
We on a pause.
Yeah. Yes, we are on the pause, but we'll be right back into that. Follow our YouTube. We already hit 100 subscribers. If you're trying to make that road to 200, please do. Make sure to go on our website as well at www.makeachessmove.org. Tap into that. Facebook MACultureM303, Instagram MACultureM303, Twitter MACultureM303, and Pinterest MACultureM303. And make sure to check out our MACultureM virtual workshops. We'll have that in the summertime. We'll get that out real soon to y'all. But with that being said, cop some MACultureM apparel. We love y'all. Y'all MACultureM out there, man.